Afternoon. Today is Thursday, August 20th. Excuse me.
Hey.
We're in. This is Thursday, August 20th, 2015 meeting of the Athens City Planning Commission. We have established a quorum, although one member is absent today. Is there anyone who anticipates speaking before the commission today? Okay, just keep your right hand up, and do you swear to tell the truth as you know it to the Planning Commission? Thank you very much. Disposition of minutes.
Okay, these are the minutes of August 6th. I would move that we accept the minutes of August 6th, 2015.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous with one absentee.
Okay. I did first, Nancy second. I'm making those fast notes for Charlene. Okay.
Okay, just cases today. Number 14-05, Citizens Bank, City of Athens, University Estates Amendment to Lot Split. Mr. Paskey?
Should we be waiting on Char?
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Wait
She's printing out a letter. I think that's relevant to this, I believe. Is that what you were asking for?
I am. I didn't want to move them in order, though. The letter that you're going to receive is a copy of was dated August, or received August 6th, dated August 5th, from Mr. Rittenhouse, who's here today to speak on the proposed donation. And basically this outlines that we previously approved a minor subdivision for an easement for that area in Lot 3A. The request now is the preference is to donate the entire lot to the city. And the conditions, I don't know. Do you feel like you want to come up and speak to this? Do you have a copy of this as well?
Yep.
I'll just wait on Char.
She can take the...
You can do it by transcript, though.
Okay.
You were somewhat inaccurate when you said, we did the lot split on the two parts. We didn't do one for the easement only. And so this is an amendment to the approval that we did before. Nothing changes with the exception we would like to remove the easement off of the one of the two parcels. If you remember a while back, if we did this split, and there was a part of the lot was, you got it, it's in your packet there, part of the lot was R3 zone, and the other part was OS, which is open space, and that was Lot 3 that we split into Lot 3A and Lot 3B. 3A was going to have an easement on it, still owned by Citizens Bank, donated to an easement on it for the city to put the bike path in. And then Lot 3B was to remain with Citizens Bank ownership, zoned R3. We're wishing to keep everything exactly the same as far as the zoning, as far as the description of the parcels, the two parcels now that have been created. Just eliminating what you see is the winding snake-like design inside Lot 3A, which was the potential bike spur for the city of Athens. And the idea is the Citizens Bank is wishing to donate the entire parcel to the city, but that will take city council approval. But doing so without the bike or the easement being part of it. So a new survey will be drawn up showing it without the easement. So this will be conditioned upon that new survey being done, and then it will go forward to council for acceptance of the donation of the land.
And it would still be, the intent is, from the city engineer's position, is he will build the bike path, but this kind of opens up in terms of restraints from that easement.
Yes, it opens up the whole site for him to build it however he deems necessary on that site. Doesn't have to stay within the parameters of the easement anymore.
Okay, so, if this lot 3A is being donated, would we really be constrained by building in this easement?
We don't have this on the agenda.
Path?
No, we can build throughout the entire lot.
I asked her to too.
Assuming that the lot is given to us and we have...
Correct.
So is there any particular reason why the easement needs to be removed? Or just
Because the lot split was approved with the easement on there. So it's just, we're going to send it forward to council without showing the easement. So the recommendation's coming from the Planning Commission to go to council on the approval of the lot split, which was done, We just want to be, what's going to be sent forth to council, I felt should reflect what's going to be true and accurate. And right now, the one that was approved showed the easement on there, and we just felt it would be easier and cleaner to just remove it. It would not be part of it, and it's just an amendment of the lot split that was approved before, just with the condition that the easement be removed, the bike easement.
So, yeah, there's actually a water line easement.
Yes, that'll remain.
Okay, so really what you're telling me is that the perimeter, the shape of the lots do not change.
Correct.
Nothing really changes in terms of having to re-survey it to make it squared off.
That's why.
But actually just the easement goes away. I guess that's a good thing considering how the elevation that's going to occur to get from point A to point B.
Correct.
There is a monetary effect to this, and that is the fact that this is one of the assessed properties, but it is less than $10,000 assessment that would then, be absorbed by the city.
Assessed for the boulevard?
For the roadways. That's my impression.
Yeah.
From,
University State Boulevard. Okay.
and as you can see, whatever component fronted there. But again, the city engineer recommends this in order to allow him to build the bike path. And when you're talking about less than $10,000 over a 10-year period of collection, it feels like it negates that.
Ms. Bain?
Are there any restraints on bike paths with respect to slope, rise over run? Are they the same as the road?
I assume it's going to have to go uphill. I don't know what
For sure.
Okay, I don't know what the criteria is.
What
for
slope
the
are they
bike
going to use?
What if you're starting at the top end, then, Mayor, it's going downhill?
We're not utilizing any federal funds or anything for that component, so I don't know that we'd have the...
I just wanted to know because it may, in fact, improve the bike path, but I just wanted to know how they were going to do it. Because are there any restraints?
I'm sure Andy can answer that, and I think that's why you see it going all the way up and then looping back around. He's maintaining that as you climb any mountainside or hillside, it kind of snakes up and back, and that.
I'm concerned.
It's going to be steep, steeper than normal, that's for sure. But he's got to figure it out. So.
Yeah, I think this is good because if we had to stay within that limit, it may be more difficult. I've just been looking at the part we did on the Hope property.
Oh, I
and
agree.
there's several switchbacks there, and that elevation is much less inclined than this one.
It
So.
would be nice to have something that people could use. That's my fundamental point. I would think that if it gets too steep, it's not going to be, except downhill.
Yeah. Well, again, to tell you the truth, you have. I know right now anybody who wants a bicycle ends up on 682, so this would be an improvement. You have to take a choice. You want the hill or you want the road. And I know some people can find the bike path we presently have, which is pretty flat, to be boring. I'm not one of them, okay? I'm not
I'm just thinking about the
power
general
cyclist or whatever you want to call it.
General public, and if you were a person that couldn't stand it, you could still stay on 682 and take the more gradual rise up the hill, except the traffic.
Traffic, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The only question I had was whether or not you'd be having the survey, or if that's on the city. It's not listed in your condition. You list.
I think that is flexible and reasonable. You're
Okay.
saying that you ask this bank to pick up the tab on.
I'm asking for that. I did a little bit of homework just asking about the real estate transfer and what would be needed, and been advised by legal counsel that it would need a new survey.
I think if we use the same surveyor, it shouldn't cost too
Okay.
much, but that seems reasonable, and I can talk
Okay,
to my client
thank
about
you.
it.
Okay.
Basically, all we're doing is wiping out or removing the dimensions of the land and the same.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the amendment to the lot split of 1405 with the idea that if we remove the easement, the presence of the easement.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous with one absentee.
I'll get you these later. The letter that came. That was through.
And thank you for the donation.
Let me ask you one question
Go ahead.
before we move on.
Oh, we voted.
Maybe I can just ask John private. Did you meet the surveyor and actually bid this?
Andy has. Andy has, yes.
And I'll contact him.
Yes.
Piece of
Andy.
information.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Case number 15-16, Verizon, 30 Park Place, Alden Library, wireless telecommunications special use permit modifications.
They are not here. I just tried to call them to see. They were coming from Philadelphia. So
We can table them for the
we
moment
can
and see if they
table them and
arrive.
wait till the end of the meeting, and then at that point, if you can table it if they're not here, or I can tell you what it is. And,
Okay, why don't we hold off?
No, we'll wait, and we'll move on to the next one.
okay.
Case number 15-17, O'Reilly Auto Parts, 958 East State Street, Title 41. Is there anyone, Mr. Paskey? You wanna-
If you remember a few weeks ago, or a month ago, I guess it was, they were here to present this project. Quick synopsis, that the proposed project is a 3-story, 6-unit multifamily apartment building located at the current location of 77 and 81 Mill Street. The building will consist of three
Where's the
3-bedroom units and 3 4-bedroom units for a total of 21 beds.
O'Reilly's Auto Parts?
No, wait a second, this is the
Oh.
Lutheran property. So the other one's
O'Reilly's tabled. I'm sorry,
Okay, yeah.
RJ. I'm sorry. I
Oh,
didn't hear you
true.
say that. O'Reilly's tabled. They will not be here at this meeting, and I don't know when they're coming back.
Okay,
They
thank
got
you.
little design problems with their retaining wall. So
Okay.
I didn't hear you say O'Reilly, so let's
No.
go to the next one. Sorry.
No problem.
So that's been continued to next meeting?
I don't know if it'll be next meeting or not. They haven't forwarded me any new drawings yet, so it potentially could be a month away yet.
Okay, okay, that's good to know.
See, case number 15-18, CELC Properties, Lutheran Church, 77 Mill Street, Title 41.
Now I'll do that one. Okay.
Go, John.
Again, like I said, they were here a few months ago. They presented their proposed project at the location of 2 homes at 77 and 81 Mill Street. The building will consist of 3 3-bedroom units and 3 4-bedroom units for a total of 21 beds. 2 existing structures were both 5-person rentals, so there were 10 beds there prior. The property is in an R3 zone, making the proposed use permissible. It's an area of multifamily residential to the east, north, and west. Although the property owner, Christ Lutheran Church, is to the immediate west. To the south is Ohio University Siegfried Hall. The proposed use is at 62% total lot coverage, where 60% is the allowable maximum. The applicants received a variance from the Board of Zoning Appeals last month for the extra 2% over. As you can look at the staff reviews, again, it's permissible use in an R3. It meets all the bulk controls in regards to lot area per dwelling unit, lot width, maximum height, front yard setback, side yard setback, rear yard setback, building coverage, total lot coverage, as I stated, received a variance. It will need a flood elevation verification when the time comes on that. Parking, 21 spaces required, and they have provided 21 with 1 accessible. 21 bicycle spaces will be required. 0 are provided. They're trying to find out if they can put them underneath the stairwell. That's an issue they're dealing with factories and buildings at the state. If not, they'll have to do some sort of little shed roof area on the outside to put them there. So Mr. Thomas is here, can address that in a little bit. Dumpsters provided, and they are on the agenda to go to the Shade Tree on September 10th.
Quick question. When you say 21 spaces provided, 1 accessible, is that 22 total, or is that 21 plus?
21 total. One of them is accessible.
That's accessible, okay.
Yeah.
Can I ask, since we're asking, this front yard setback says 8 feet required, 8 feet provided, established by other buildings
Yes,
adjacent?
our code allows if an established front setback is already established by buildings on either side, then that building, then the new building being built can go with the setback of those buildings. So
Yeah.
if the front setback of the buildings on either side is at 8 feet, then the new building's allowed to be at 8 feet. So it's in our code. So
Okay.
otherwise, I'd have made them get a variance for that. But we get many projects that are not meeting front yard setbacks based on the 25 foot. They're based on the established setback line of the neighborhood.
That is the case, although, most of the time this is being addressed as an existing structure rather than a totally new structure, but at the same
Does
time.
it speak to that?
No, it doesn't.
It says all new structures,
Oh, new structure?
all new structures in our zones can use the established front setback of the properties adjacent to it on the other side using the greater of the two. I always thought it should just be a diagonal line or whatever. If one's a 10-foot and the other's a 15-foot, draw a line, but it says a greater of the two. In this instance, both sides are approximately back 8 feet off of the right-of-way. So,
Can you give me the number on that?
sorry,
Can you please give me the number on that?
that section of code.
No, I know, it's 21, but where?
23.
23.
23.
It's in the first one of the first sections. When you go to setbacks,
Okay.
so
But Mr. Paskin, I'm in favor of this property, but the one next door has had a particle board bedroom added to the front of it fairly recently. I just wonder, so if everybody keeps creeping out to the road pretty soon, I mean, does it mean that they have and I'm not talking about this new construction, but it seems to me that the density of land use in that area is in danger, especially.
it meets the density, but the density requirements is it.
Well, not this one necessarily. I'm actually talking in a more general sense.
The lot area per dwelling unit is 1,250 square feet per unit, and they have 6 units, so that means they have to have 75,000.
Not this one, but I mean, in general, there is a problem in that area. We ought to probably look at that.
Yeah.
When did that go into the code?
Which
It's the Gary Hunter rule.
the density
No, the setback.
setback? I don't know. It's been
Okay.
there. It was on when I was on zoning board of appeals, and again, most of the time it was for refurbishing, buildings rather than.
Says no
I don't
structure
want to
shall-
walk down memory lane. Sorry, just
Says no
let's keep
structure
going.
shall be built on any lot of less than the required area unless the minimum front and rear yards for lots in the residential zone where said lot is located are maintained.
Okay, do you have the citation for the?
Yeah.
230303C.
Okay, so we know where to look. Okay. And again, you think about the if you're talking about the density side of it, this discussion at one point during the comprehensive plan was trying to, there's a push to have an increased density in some of these, an R4 zone.
We have talked about this, but Nancy's been very vocal about, where do the children play? And taking up more of the green space, that was there.
Where do they run their frisbees?
Right.
And then also
We've got the church back there.
230308C, when a vacant lot is situated between 2 improved lots, each having a principal building within 25 feet of any side lot line of such unimproved lot, the front yard may be reduced to the greatest depth of the front yard of the 2 adjoining improved lots.
And so that's going to apply to every single thing that
It's been applying for a
These
long
are
time.
all the lots that have been split off of small lots in my neighborhood.
These lots weren't vacant.
No, I'm not.
They are they will be when the buildings are tore down.
Yeah, well, that's
Well, that's
just going on.
This one is fine. I just don't understand how this creeps in.
Are you more concerned with the density or the setback?
the reason it is that way is because of the number of non-conforming lots that we have within the city. The west side is a great example. There's no way your people are going to have 25-foot front yard setbacks on the west side, and they have an established front wall of houses, and that front line can be the line that is built for all new projects, an established front setback by the other homes to either side of it. So
The whole area is a Columbia, your own road that would not be able to be rebuilt with setbacks.
Paul Logue said my house was the only one of everybody on the board who's conformed to the code.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mine. I'd be in trouble. I have to go to zoning board of appeals to rebuild my house.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a negative depth. It's longer than it's wide.
Oh, I just, I'm concerned about the impact of this on my own neighborhood. RJ's too. But let's go back.
Sure.
Sorry for this
Go right
sideline.
to, where are we? To the fire chief, maybe? Okay.
Up to the
Yeah.
fire chief, yes. As you can see, he's got a couple of comments about the escape ladders for the second and third floor opposite the main floor. I'll have him talk to the architect in regards to that as to what he wants. Sprinkler systems and basic comments that he does on all projects. That can be in the lockbox installed at first level of stairwell. I did not receive any comments back from the police department. City planner, as I mentioned, will have to go through special flood hazard And Andy has a number of comments, most notably the site did not indicate any storm sewer on the rear parking lot, and both he and I are going to make that required since there is a storm sewer running in the alley to the rear. So
They don't run out to the
I
street.
remember, this
It'll
is-
stand in the street.
This is on the fringe of the
coming
floodplain.
down to your park.
Because I think
yes,
I think I've seen to get a variance. I think for the church itself when they added addition in the back, it was questionable.
that was Price to Kent.
No, actually further up, the Lutheran Church added
The Lutheran Church.
when I was on zoning board of appeals many years ago.
The flood elevate actually cuts kind of a diagonal through this parcel.
Yeah,
So
through the back.
yeah, they're going to have to bring it 1 foot above base flood, but it would probably be that anyways with the
Yeah.
construction, just getting it out of the ground as required anyways.
Mr. Paskey, what's the lighting like on?
They have lighting, and you'll look in the plans, they have lights in the parking lot as well as the mandatory or required ones on the on the building itself. So it seemed
That will be downward placed.
they will be
and-
down and they'll meet the lighting.
Good lighting.
Down lighting in the
Notation on
parking
that, too,
lot.
yeah.
I have a question. For one, calling that Kurt Street, and the other shows it being owned by the president, doesn't it?
I don't think it's Kurt Street.
State of
It's not
Ohio
Kurt
president.
Street.
I don't know if it's Kurt's either, but I do believe it is
I can't
owned
believe
by
everything
the
you read on a
university.
plat map. Honestly. Is there a right of way?
State of Ohio, yeah, on the map, on the back here it says State of Ohio.
See that? Jim, can I ask Jim Thomas a question, please?
Come on up.
Up to it, Jim.
Run the gauntlet.
Oh, could you please identify yourself and the company you work for, or address of your residence?
My name is Jim Thomas, and I'm with EVP Architects.
Okay, when you read the deed, what did they call the, I have to get my directions straight here, the easternmost boundary? Did they say it was an easement or an alleyway or a right-of-way or?
I would have to check with
Okay.
with Ryan Buckley, because Ryan Buckley is the one who did the site work, and so I don't know what he found there.
Well, I mean, somebody's objecting to Kurt Street, and I just wanted to know.
It's being called Kurt Street because across the street is Kurt Street.
Yeah.
I think it even shows up on the city's GIS sometimes.
You cannot trust everything you see on GIS, you guys. Some
Yeah, I
human
can-
being made that.
But I can talk to Ryan and have him clear that up.
I just, it doesn't really matter to this project,
No.
except it's access to the backyard, right? And it's
Access to
established.
Siegfried parking lot too. I mean, it's an access to.
Well, the main one is, of course, the one that goes over by the Harris property.
Well, the real access really would be off a playground that cuts all the way through and comes all the way down to Stewart. So,
Our zoning maps calls it parking access.
Yeah, that's what I was, okay, so it may be a very simple question, but one that is significant. So it would be owned by the two properties, right, probably?
And it's got a city sidewalk in here as well.
Oh, okay. My goodness,
I'll
that's a
check
good.
with Ryan and get
Okay.
that cleared up. And
It's, it's not totally relevant to this, but it's one of those questions. Thank you, Jim.
Any other questions while he's up there?
So have you had a chance to review this? You haven't got a copy of this, have you?
yes, I did get a copy yesterday. Actually, on the engineering public works, I think most of that stuff's already been picked up on the drawings by Ryan Buckley.
Okay.
He put in a bioswale collection attached to the storm there.
okay.
So we've got updated drawings for all that. I've went through the other items. I think most of them, we'll have a problem with complying with. I would like to talk with the fire chief on, especially the ladders. I know I found a Warner who makes ladders has a pop-out type that actually goes in a recess underneath the window inside. Pop it out, throw it out.
Maybe not a slide like an airplane or something?
No, it's a ladder.
If you
But
put the
instead
window
of
up,
having, you've seen the ones with the hooks and the ladder and all that, and those could get lost. And
Yep.
this is actually attached into a recess into the wall, and they've designed it to fit in a stud space. And they come in a couple lengths that work for our height. So I definitely would talk with him and make sure that we're
That sounds like a good
I
idea.
understand his scenario. As a fire chief, he always has to take the worst case scenario, which is that the central stairwell is gone,
Right.
it's on fire, and you've got to get out another way. So, and I've seen that with all the fire chiefs and the police chiefs. They have to play that scenario in their heads, so you can see where they're coming from.
So I will talk with him, and a lot of the other items were things that were going to be on our architectural drawings for review with the state anyways, the fire ratings and monitoring and stuff like that, and the lockbox. And then he has a note on there for the stairwell to be sprinkled or 2-hour fire rated. Ours, it's an exterior stairwell, so we're allowed to do like 1 hour sides, so between the exterior stair and the building, we're going to do those 1 hour, but we're also going to sprinkle it, so it'll have both
Nice.
of those.
That's good.
And did you say you would find bicycle spaces underneath the stair?
No, not under the stair. We're
Okay.
not going to do that.
You're not going to do
Yeah.
that
We
with?
found some space on site that we can do that,
Okay.
and because you're not supposed to store underneath the
Yeah,
stairs.
stairs, right.
And it's parking. It's not storing.
Where's that dumpster?
So, but yeah, we found a place
Says-
underneath that.
I don't know. Did you show the dumpster?
He's got a dumpster.
location?
Yep, he does.
Yeah, they have a
We got a
dumpster to the rear.
enclosure.
Okay.
And will both buildings have Mill Street addresses?
Have
Is that
what?
Mill Street addresses?
It's going to be one building.
One
Oh.
building.
There's a roof over top that common stairwell, so even though it's exterior, it's covered.
He has to meet state.
So it's all one structure.
So you'll have state. You have
As
to
long as
meet
it doesn't
state.
turn into
right?
Party Central, it's
You
good.
have to meet the state.
I'm sorry. I'm part of here.
She's just getting confirmation you have to meet state code on this project
yes.
because it's one
Okay.
building.
Because it's often circumvented in this town.
Yeah, we're actually gonna. I'm planning on maybe next week going up and doing a preliminary with them, just to see if there's anything they have that's outstanding.
Any other questions or comments? Does somebody want to
Just more people on Mill Street
put a motion together?
The last
to
one.
patrol.
Okay.
Unless you need me to do it.
Just say move to accept Title 41. Is that what you said? Mr. Chair, I move to accept Title 41 for number 1518, the CELC Lutheran Church Properties, 77 Mill Street.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
So it's a unanimous with one absentee. Let's see.
So,
Communications, let's just go ahead.
you want to go back to the...
Can we do the bed and breakfast?
Okay.
Can we come back in case they ever show?
I don't think they're going to be here, and they haven't called me. I guess it's up to you guys if you want to table it or if you want to look at it. It's very straight, simple. They're just switching out their antennas. I'd like to try to figure out a way, not to try to make it easier on these companies, but these companies have been coming hundreds and hundreds of miles for a 5-minute session, so I don't know.
Oh, discuss
So
that.
you prefer to have this pass through before they show up or something?
Maybe if you look at it, I'll answer what I can if you have questions.
Okay, what is this one?
I don't
This is
like
Alden's
representing the
Library?
company, obviously.
Yeah.
But everything is there. It's a pretty self-explanatory.
Well, what I thought
But
we
if you
might,
ask me a question, I'm not going to be able to answer it.
what I thought we might do is go through the rest of the meeting, and then we still just revisit that at the end in that way, because parking out there is horrendous today. They might even be looking for spot. Who knows?
I would
Yes.
move that we amend the agenda to drop 1516, case 1516 down to announcements of the business, number 7.
Okay. Is there a second?
Under other business.
I'll second.
Okay.
We're doing
So-
business here, sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't know if I needed to move to amend the agenda,
It's under other business.
but I was going to do it where? Under communications, this discussion of the memorandum to go to the law director regarding bed and breakfast, and then also residential health care.
Okay, why don't we do that in communications?
Okay.
Okay.
Which is, okay, first we have a motion, a second, right?
Right.
All right.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That was unanimous with one absentee.
Okay.
We go to 4 communications.
Communication, is that recommendation?
Ms. Moss?
Yes, Ms. Shar printed these out for us. This is a draft, right? Did it go out?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, I felt like, I'm not sure it captured everything, so this is the memorandum, and I did ask Shar to attach the minutes that had more detail in terms of what we were seeking, both on the bed and breakfast and these residential care facilities. Is that what we're calling them?
Healthcare facilities.
Well, there's a name in the ORC that we should use, right?
Residential care facility, RCF.
And we should define what that means. I mean, is it just elderly? Is it?
No, it has nothing to do with elderly.
All right, that's what I want to make sure.
There's a long section in the higher revised code that defines
Goes back
what it
to
is.
Akron.
So
You weren't here, but I keep saying Akron.
this says residential health care facilities. So is that incorrect? Should we just be saying residential care
I
facilities?
just copied over what our own code said. Basically, this is pretty much a mandate coming down from the Supreme Courts and to deinstitutionalize, and they're permissible in R1 zones. It's really not even a discussable matter, in all honesty. It's been this way for many, many years. I pointed it out a long time ago, but I thought if we're going to send something up to have changed, that then we just will throw this in there. But it's
Mr. Paskey, we have it as a conditionally permitted use in R3.
and it's not allowed.
In an R3. And I'm not arguing with you about that, but I want to find out exactly what it means. I think the tenor of the note that was sent is that they're allowed anywhere. They're allowed anywhere that they conform, is what the law says.
They're allowed to go in any residential zone, just provided they meet all controls.
Exactly. Okay.
And which that they would still have to do, as does anything. They're not asking to be exempt from that stuff.
Well, nobody's asking even, right? You're just cleaning up the code.
No, there's some things in the works.
So, and it would, okay.
So when you say
It doesn't seem like we need to
you're
ask.
talking,
They would have to still meet parking setbacks and height and area requirements, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
okay, but occupancy in terms of 3 or more in an R1 zone would fall out of the mix?
Occupancy is tossed out.
tossed out.
6 or 7, I think.
8.
8? Okay.
8, according to the ORC, but I'm being told by another attorney that it's being changed to 6. So currently the ORC says 8.
Okay.
So we have to make our code on erasable bond. Oh, nobody does that.
No, we
One
updated
question we
regularly.
didn't ask, and I thought we would, and maybe I just put a note from what you, was a definition.
Yeah, we want a definition.
I thought it was in here.
Well, our old definition is bad.
Yeah,
We all
because it
agreed
only
that
yeah.
we didn't like that language.
There's one in the ORC that you could use, I think.
Is
Oh,
it
that's the
our-
one we should use. It's just like the strip club, you know.
It says
you have-
residential health care facilities, but then I guess the next sentence says residential care facilities. It is residential care facility.
And we have to remove mentally retarded, which we have in our zone.
They still have it listed that way in the ORC,
I mean, the resident, in the
my.
definitions.
in the definition of the
Okay,
ORC.
so we put it in the
It says
definition.
MR and DD. It has both of them listed.
Okay. There was one on Mill Street.
So
There was such a facility, I don't know if it's still there. There was one on Morris Avenue. You know, so it's not like a new thing here.
right.
It's not been a problem.
This has been like this really since '78. I actually pointed it out to the law director that this was unconstitutional when I started working here 8 years ago, and
That's minor.
now it's coming to us. Yeah. So, and we do have. There's a facility in town that's for sale, and the state is mandating that they're going to have to deinstitutionalize, and even though it's not, it's a 36-bed unit, and they will probably be building 6 RCFs throughout the county, maybe 2 or 3 within the city limits of Athens. They have a couple of prospective lots right now. So one of them we actually just discussed a minute ago. So on the lots that we just talked about.
And while we're on the topic, I guess I would say my lot is, I don't think it's mine, but maybe it is. Maybe my husband's been trying to sell it. But I'm joking. But I was thinking there are some issues that will affect having 6 people, all their visitors, all their attendants in an R1 zone. And I think to deny that is probably foolishness, especially on a street like the one I live on, where there's no parking on the street. There's no way
They would have to meet parking requirements on their property.
I mean, in many cases, lots of record then will not override.
We have the right to put in our code then how many parking spaces we want for these facilities, because you do have accessible vans. Typically, you don't need the 1-to-1 ratio because, let's be realistic, they don't drive. You have a staff of maybe 2 or 3 working 24 hours within the facilities. And then they would usually have 1, maybe 2, depending on the number of beds, handicap vans within the parking lot.
Well, I mean, why would we zone to that level of detail for one specific use?
We aren't going
I'm
to.
just.
No, he's saying bulk controls come
Bulk
to play.
controls.
So,
Well, I guess even that.
Well,
I mean,
because if you look in the parking regulations in the very rear, it does define to each individual uses, and this is really not a, if I remember correctly, I don't think it really falls under a medical or dental clinic as to where we put it as to.
no, it's really more residential than a clinic.
Yes,
if I
and
was
it's
supposed
to be
use,
treated
like,
as such.
integrated services buildings that they built out on the Far East Side.
Integrated's different. The clientele can drive.
We don't know that.
But they have the ability to get driver's license. These typically do not. I'm speaking to this because I did this for 10 years before I started working here. I have a very in-depth knowledge and background of this. I know what the needs are. I know what the requirements typically are. So it's just my history of knowing what these are. And I actually was the person that would be standing at that podium going to planning commissions and board of zoning appeals for a company all over the United States having these built in R1 neighborhoods.
If we were to not speak specifically to parking, what would they follow? Isn't that what you were saying? You weren't sure?
If they did, the way the code is written, if you can't follow any specific use, then it goes to the board of zoning appeals for them to try to determine. Not for the whether the use is permissible or not, for the board of zoning appeals to determine how many parking spaces they think it would need.
I mean, you
Where-
said staff, but there's also other services and hopefully visitors.
Not very often.
Not very many.
Not very often. And most of the time what these are, if you had an autistic child and you got to be 70, 80 years old, and your child is now 50, you're no longer able to care for them, where do they go? And they end up in these type of facilities. Not all of them are that, but that is predominantly the use for these type of clientele. So they don't have a lot of family visitors. Sad, but that's the way it is.
And again, technically, it'd be probably a dwelling, which would mean 2 for each dwelling unit plus 1 for the additional renter.
That would be 8 then. Right?
Yeah, and again, you still have to, even though most people wouldn't be using it, you
I'm
still
going
need
6.
You still need something for a handicap van to be in there.
And they-
I mean, if you talk about it being a medical or dental clinic, that's 1 for every 200 square feet.
Yeah,
That
you
does
don't
not
need it
apply.
there.
Hotel, motel,
You have
this is
a-
1 for sleeping space.
You have a dietitian show up. You have the 2 or 3 staff at any one time. You have the vans that are parked there, 1 or 2. The clientele we're looking at actually that have been contacting us. They're looking to put garages on theirs for their vans, and then you'll have medical personnel stop by occasionally. So we used to do in a 12-bed facility back then. We would put about 8 parking spaces in them.
Okay, I noticed in the bulk controls
not
too,
enough.
sanitariums, convalescent homes, children homes, 1 for each 6 beds.
And I think that's where it would classify under right now.
So you could have 6 beds with only 1
Convalescent.
space.
Right.
I think they can do
Which,
it.
that's where I say we
think
could
it's
easily say a different number to this. And we're going to get it in there, then that's an amendment or something that we can add in its own off-street parking requirements for this type of use.
Okay, part of the recommendation that we were going to ask for definition to the law director was, I think that's what you brought this up, Paul, that you wanted.
No, I moved it because I think it's ambiguous, and we have the old thing, which was, this is a newer concept.
Okay.
But I think that I know that it's fashionable to say integrated services. We had so much flack from the neighborhood because of their clients. And I'm not sure that's true. I'm just speaking for myself here. But I think that the flack came, as it will in this case, if it's something that intrudes on the other, if it's too much in the neighborhood. Because, I know that the guy stood up there, the architect from Reeser, Valentour, and whatever, he was saying, well, they don't want those people in their neighborhood. And I thought, well, you know what? Those people are all around me in my own neighborhood. Within 200 feet of my house, I know children who are schizophrenic and live there. We've always had that. It's not that simple. It's the land use component that is a problem. When you have every square foot possible, they did better the second time. And I think integrated services kind of maybe learned a little bit from that experience. But I think it's so easy for people in the business to put it off on the people, when in fact it's just inconvenience and too much parking lot, that kind of thing. And I want us to be in compliance with the law. Heck, if we're meeting the strip clubs. Why
Okay.
not this?
Let's look at what we've discussed so far. What you're talking about is, let's call it integrated services, but it really isn't any kind of, not a convalescent note. I think really what I'm getting at is the recommendation we were to ask for the ruling on this, right? How it works in terms of residential zones, residential health care facilities. And again, what I'm hearing from John here is that we can't not permit in R1s, but the bulk controls is where it fall into.
It's clear we can't.
Well, okay, so as soon as you talk about bulk controls, the next thing comes bulk controls in terms of where does it fall in the table B of off-street parking.
And stack parking? Is stack parking allowed?
It sounds like we have to have a new piece of definition in there, too, because convalescent homes, one for each 6 beds will not make it. Mm-hmm. One dwelling, to say one for each bed will be excessive. Mm-hmm. So we probably have to look at. Well, realize once you start saying we're going to put 6 people in here and we have 6 parking spaces, bulk controls in terms of lot coverage is now kicks in, 60%. We just gave variance for 62. How much would you want to give? How much would zoning board of appeals?
Depends on the neighborhood, man. That's the way that's the way the zoning, as
Yes, I know. But it comes down to as I say, the land use will be defined by bulk controls at this point. So we really want to address that along the way. The definition we could put in there too, how much, 6 beds, 8 beds, depending on RC.
I think you do it that way because you may very likely get a 4-bed somewhere. So you can do 1 for 2 beds.
1 for 2 beds, I could live with that.
Okay,
and then handicap as well, for the handicap vehicle.
Well, they'll do that anyways, but
They'll have to. But make it work.
I don't think you can have a 4-bedroom apartment that people are living in, a 4-bed unit in which it's totally a business where they're coming in and cooking their meals with only 3 spaces, though, or even 2 spaces. It's just not enough.
For a 4-bed?
Yeah.
2 spaces?
Yeah.
Likelihood they don't even have a van. They share with another facility somewhere.
But the van is going to be there some of the time.
They'll have 1 or 2 staff.
Once again, I'll go back to what I said about the past, where people say, well, it's just because you're against. No, it's because it's an inconvenience in the neighborhood. There has to be either off-street parking or...
It pretty much falls in any business. When we talk about R1,
it is a
R2s,
business, yeah.
The professionals have to be a certain thing. They have an entrance, they can't have extra signs, they have to have a certain room or space devoted to businesses, to the business, And,
100%, yeah.
And that's what we presently have. So the question is, where do we stop and start with this type of residential? We permit it. It's required by ORC, we permit it. The question is, where does it fall in, and we have to define that. We have to say, okay, what are the requirements for parking? What do we expect to see on the exterior?
Yeah, and it has to meet bulk controls. It can't be...
And bulk
I think
controls.
Parking is part of bulk controls.
That's
so
true.
No, I meant, but how you say it. If it's a small lot, you can build on it because it's a lot of record. And that would not apply in this case, would it?
Yes.
You still have to have
I mean, you
setbacks.
can still build on it, but they still have to meet
I
bulk
mean,
control.
this would not,
Absolutely.
it would or would not?
Any lot of record that can be built on by anybody. And the same with an RCF, if they were to be built on this site, then they could in an R1, but it would still have to meet the bulk controls, just like a single-family house would have to. Typically, these structures are built to look like single-family homes. The ones we did look like brick ranches, and you wouldn't know the difference.
Well, I mean, I don't have any qualms about that, but what I'm interested in is how, with our frequent lot size of 40 by 125, you can even imagine that this would work. I mean, I know we have to meet the codes, but it's a lot of record. So if you have a bunch of lots of record of that size, it'll start looking like Stewart Street.
Well, my question is, what do we need to amend what
I
we
don't
have
understand
here?
what you mean, Nancy. If it meets the bulk controls,
The bulk controls, no, I mean, it is a lot of record. Okay, there's a lot of record here, but bulk controls stipulate that the lot has to be 65 inches.
66 feet wide.
And how deep?
It doesn't. It has square footage.
Okay, how
Minimum
deep?
of 66 foot, unless it's a lot of record, and then it still has to meet the side yard setbacks. Unless it can't, then it could be 10% the width of the lot, no less than 4 foot on either side.
And that is in a regular residential neighborhood, not Mill Street, not Stewart Street. That is going to be a problem.
It's a problem for a
Yes.
single-family house.
Well, yes, that's why they aren't there.
But
Exactly.
These folks aren't going to be looking for those types of lots.
Well, it's a business. They're going to buy the cheapest land they can, the most convenient,
But
the
if
most
they can't fit it in there, that they won't be able to do it.
But he's talking about a very generous read on the code. When I think the bulk controls kick in, it's there, and the size is stipulated by bulk controls.
And that's
then
it?
on no, that's not it, because on this side we have the lot of record issue, and lots of records are often 2 of them would be necessary, maybe 3 of them,
Oh,
to
yeah.
create a bulk control.
So you're talking about merging 3 lots together to make this work? In other
No,
words,
I'm
somebody would
not.
come along
I'm
and
not.
buy- No, I
I'm-
mean,
yeah, that would be.
that's your scenario that you worry about.
I'm not worried about it as much as I'd like to see this work, but there's also the money component. This is a business, and so I would like to have that balance off the rights of the neighborhood and the rights of the business.
Ms. Mosley, did you have something?
I guess I'm trying to get back to the memorandum to see, do you feel that we need to add anything to this or send
Yes,
a
it sounds like
subsequent
we
one
need to
that
add
talks
something.
about, the caveat about meeting bulk controls, including parking, or what you would...
That's fine, but that's written in the ORC, that it has to meet bulk controls. And
Okay.
parking is considered a bulk control. We can establish our own bulk controls. We can establish our own parking rate or ratio.
And automatically when I read it, I thought, oh, okay, so they have to be a legal lot. And then, then as you say it, and zoning is
A
interpretation,
platted
so I'm
lot
not
is a
faulting
legal
you.
lot.
Yeah, but
What is the process of combining 2 lots of record?
If there are 2 lots in the same ownership, 2 vacant lots in the same ownership side by side, then they have to be joined. They cannot be 2 structures built on them. And I've actually denied a few people, and actually the church that just came through. That's a requirement of them. They were at one time looking to do 2 separate buildings, 2 separate lots. The numbers weren't working, so I'm making them combine the 2 parcels into one for that one structure.
So does this kicks in at Title 41 then? If we combine 2 lots and say we want to build a...
No, it would not
Business.
kick into Title 41 because
It's residential?
It's residential, and it's well under the square footage requirement of kicking into Title 41.
Okay, so it's square footage that would make
Yeah.
a difference there. So you've got the lot of record as the narrow end, the small end, and then you have somebody somebody puts 3 lots together or 2 lots together and builds to a certain size, then the Title 41 kicks in. Okay. What I'm hearing from Paul is that she wants a better definition of what we want to ask the law director to look at, besides changing the residential health care facilities definition.
Or we could just let this stand, see what her determination is, and then start the bulk control discussion, so...
Okay.
Or could we, and also maybe while she's doing it, or she could do it probably better than we could on LexisNexis or something, find out what the typical parking requirement is.
I'm telling you.
What?
And I'm telling you what they are. I'm not trying to say anything, but I bet there's not many people in Athens County have more experience on this than me. And I'm not trying to defend them. This is what I did for many of years.
I mean,
Okay,
you know,
so-
but this is a new concept, and
Yeah.
so let's do it
It's
right.
not really new. It's been
I know
around
it's new.
since
There are
the
two in
70s.
town, just like bed and breakfast. There was one before. I mean, I'm not saying. I just want to. I'm seeing more shift to this mode in the
Okay.
state, right?
Yes.
1978 it was. The Ridges is a perfect example when it was deinstitutionalized, and the state mandated that clients got placed within facilities throughout the state. Each state then was assigned their own responsibility, and then the state passed it down to the counties. They would say, the county board of MRDD would come back and say, okay, we're going to give you 36 CON, Certificate of Needs, meaning we have 36 beds that we have 36 clients that need to be placed within your county, and they try to distribute the clients around the state adequately based on population, etc. That was done, and some of at that time they would allow for some larger facilities to get them deinstitutionalized out of the big complexes. Some facilities were built that were 36 beds, like we have one here on Union Street right now. Now the state is coming down, taking those remaining 36 beds or whatever and saying you can't have any more than, like I said, the ORC says 8. The attorney that I've been talking with that's looking to come in here says the state's even reducing it to 6. So it's going to be a maximum of 6 beds. But
That's what I'm
as of
saying.
right now, the code says 8.
Okay, so if we were to add another section in our Table B for off-street parking, you said you have a recommendation. What would that look like?
I would say we would just put in one of the classifications right here, we would just put RCFs, residential care facilities, 1 per 2 beds,
So that is
or bedrooms. Or,
Okay.
no, we
I
would
don't
say
know
1
that
per 2
that's
beds.
necessary to go to the law director, though, so I think we'll
No, I
let the
don't think so either.
memorandum
Okay, so
stand.
I think the memorandum
So,
should stand,
okay,
yes.
thank you.
And I think you should distinguish between where there is off-street parking in certain areas and there is not.
The last thing we want to do is clarify something totally different for this use versus any other uses. We don't want to go
Then you
there
put yourself out there.
because now we're isolating a handicap use being totally different than something else.
No, but I meant if you're going to go so low as 2, 1 per 2 beds, I think when you start thinking about counselors and everyone else coming and occupational therapists, where are they going to park? Are you going to allow stacked parking in an
Nancy, I'm
R1
just giving a
zone?
recommendation. You can say 1-to-1 if you wish.
I know that's probably overkill, but I do think that there shouldn't be stacked parking.
Remember, the old requirement was 1 for every, 1 parking space for every 1.5 beds, wasn't it? Wasn't that the early?
I can't remember, it's 1 for 1
It
now,
was
but I don't
One-
think,
one time, one
It was
use-
1.5 per unit.
1.5 per unit.
Per unit.
Well, and that was nebulous because of the union versus bed, yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Well, I don't know, it's only nebulous if you're trying to parse it.
Well, we are.
No, I think that what we're doing on the ground floor here is we're trying to figure out what we have to do to protect the neighborhoods and provide the service. I would let the business provide the
As
service.
well as conform to what the code requires. And
Yeah.
whereas the state requires, which pretty much says you can drop them in any residential. Yeah.
I will probably
long
have
as they
2
meet
permits
all
on my
the
desk in October for this, so I'm just trying to get
Get ahead of it.
ahead of it
Okay.
as to what we're going to require out of them.
Okay.
But no stacked parking, right? Could we write that?
They
in?
don't want to do stacked parking.
I don't-
but
you know,
no,
but,
no stacked parking.
The business has one position, the reality has another.
Well, let's say, no, I will say, no, I'll take that back. If it is a 4-bed and we do 1 per 2 bedrooms and it just has a single driveway, then where there are only 2 vehicles required, then yes, I think stacked parking should be permissible in that case. I think when you say that if it has 4 or more parking spaces, like anywhere else in our code, you cannot, well, I shouldn't say that because R1, R2, but you can't have more than 4 parking spaces in a
Well, I think-
4
I hope-
beds in an R1, so.
I hope until you hear from us, you use the residential definition, because the people who are building houses have to provide more parking than the business that's making.
A single-family house is required to have 2 parking spaces. They could be staffed. And that's what my argument is here, is we need to treat this like a single-family house. We can't sit here and say it's different just because of the type of clientele that's living in it and their disability.
Because of the services the business provides. It has nothing to do with the clients, it has to do with the business and the effect on the neighborhood. It's the same thing you have when you're delivering a package to somebody that's manufacturing trombone parts in their basement. If a semi comes in, it gets to be a nuisance. And the nuisance then has to be abated. Okay, so let's avoid that. I mean, I know you have strong feelings, but I
Well,
want to
it's-
see the neighborhood protected.
It's no different, and I didn't bring it up, but it's kind of in there now. We're seeing more and more and more requests come through my office for home nursing. And it's the way society is today. There's a lot more in-house home health care. People don't go to hospitals. They're not living in convalescent homes. They're not living in nursing homes. They're trying to stay at home and have home nursing. It's the same principle. Does that mean that single-family house has to have more parking because they have a nurse living there
I
now?
think it's silent on that issue.
Well, but it's the same thing.
I will
No,
say
it isn't the
the
same.
Athens Village, the group that wants to age in place, is requesting that we review code on how to allow, the live-in attendance and how
It's like a rooming house. Why would you be different?
Well,
I mean, you could think of it that way.
It's
the old code used
becoming.
to have servants' quarters, didn't it? So
There's
did.
a servant,
See that?
yeah, and that's
But
what
they're
we've been
probably
doing.
gonna
I've been
put
classifying it under the
servants'
servants' quarters part of it.
Yeah,
right now
of
in
course.
existing. I mean,
Right
because
now,
we're
that's
all
how-
aging and we're all going to need help, and so I don't know.
Yeah, right now it says, permitted accessory uses, summer houses and servants' quarters. That's an accessory use, and I just, I don't even want to really know if we want to get into talking about that because I've been kind of playing with it that way, but the way that's written is probably
Don't
inaccurate in
massage it,
today's.
just-
how many butlers do you have?
Exactly.
They are asking, the Athens Village people. They really are asking for us to look
Yeah,
into
are they
this.
dreaming? Or are they
housing.
for real?
Well, I mean,
mean,
we're all,
people-
a fall, a slip, a trip away from in need
Yeah,
of
and
assistance.
and that's
So,
not.
yeah.
I mean, we're just talking about a hypothetical. It's not. I'm the closest one to a slipper off. I don't know.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is the memorandum has been shot up to the law director's office. We probably should have a good discussion of if we're going to add another section to our Table B off-street parking requirements that include healthcare facilities,
Residential care facility,
residential care facilities. Okay, and
or group homes, but that's the
Yeah.
dirty word.
okay, residential
This-
care facilities would be the best.
Just so it doesn't impose. John, get it. I mean, it's part of the
Okay.
problem is not the people that live there. It's the way it's used.
Okay, so really what we're talking about is trying to design it so it doesn't impact the neighborhood. So therefore, we're talking about bulk controls, side
Parking.
setbacks, everything like that, pretty much stands alone. But if we talk about off-street parking, we could actually put a section in there saying, one for every 2 beds, one for every 1 bed, the asterisk with stacking requirements or not.
And is there a residential manager on site?
That's a good
Somebody at
question.
all
That's where we
times.
are with
They're
the bed and
staffed all
breakfast.
the
having a
24/7.
discussion.
And then there'll be practical nurses coming and going, probably.
How many do you require for
Well, I
2
would
beds?
think you'd have one for and one for 2 then. In that case, you'd have 3 at least for a 4th.
Okay, that's a starting point right there.
3 what?
Places to park.
Oh, I thought you meant nurses coming in.
No, they don't. Nobody could afford nurses out.
No,
Home
I mean-
health care service. I mean, it's gone on in my neighborhood forever. They just come when they come.
Okay, dweller, owner-occupied, single family, 2 for each dwelling unit plus 1 for each additional renter. How is that different than the 3 that you're asking?
It isn't.
It isn't.
It would be.
But I would probably want to delineate dwelling to be a RCF, right? Residential healthcare. I got to remember that. For some reason, it's just going right past me. So that's really
It's
what we're
another
looking at.
acronym.
Yes.
Okay.
But what you're seeing here is that we would put another section in there. It can't be really, too far away from any other section in here because we can't restrict it, except through bulk controls.
We're not trying to restrict it.
No.
But you can't give the most generous read, R-E-A-D, to a neighborhood business use.
Yes. I
Which is
agree.
mandated by the state. It's sort of like, I hate to even say it, but fracking is what it resembles to me.
Okay,
Where you can put it anywhere you want to.
I agree with you. So really what we have to do is sharpen our pencils and say, what do we want to see in the bulk controls? And this is the main one right here, the off-street parking, which is, the next one after that would be actually lot coverage. But we can't, lot coverage right now is set, 30 feet, 30% for a
60%
house.
total.
60%.
So that's going to regulate how big their parking lot's
Yeah,
going to be in
sure.
itself. And if the
Right.
site doesn't work for them, they find something else.
And if they try combining it, somewhere along the line, that's another issue.
That's why you never have to worry about those little 40-foot wide lots for these type of uses.
Well, I know they're rapacious people. It's just, I've seen it all.
Yeah, trombone factories in your R1 zones.
Okay. Well, thanks for that mini discussion.
Yeah.
No, the decision is, let's see.
Okay.
So,
So we want to go back to telecommunication tower? Is that what we're hearing? Verizon?
well, do you want to, if we just kind of continue on through, Mr. Paskey, did you want to give your report?
Just on this one, I mean, if you look, you've got the reports in front of you
Okay.
on the wireless telecommunication.
I'm curious, it's dated July 8th. Why did they wait so long to come
Because I wasn't here, and they said they wanted to be here when I was here, and I was on vacation
Okay.
those days. And they said, we prefer to do it when you're here. I went, okay.
Do you know if they're willing to do these recommended alterations that they have in bold on this page thing from the Keystone
Those are-
Structural Solutions?
Yeah, Verizon Wireless plans to replace 6 existing antennas with 6 new antennas and add 3 new antennas. They also plan to add 9 remote radio heads. They will also be swapping 3 sector boxes for 3 new distribution boxes. No ground or shelter work is being performed at this time. The structural analysis is in there, calculations, everything was okay. It does fall under what we call a priority 2, which means it's on an existing tower. One thing I was asking for them was proof that OU was aware of it. So,
Is this OU property?
yeah, it's
It's on the library.
They wouldn't be aware of it?
They got a contract with OU to have their antennas on there, so I would think that OU knows about it. But I did ask them to give me something in writing, so maybe that's why they're not here. I don't know. So,
But what about, have you heard from them? Are they willing to accept the structural engineers, even though they say, while not required, that they remove this excess existing ballast blocks that would reduce the load and be more evenly distributed?
removal of excess system.
I know. I was going 1960s.
I have not. I don't know what they're.
Well.
Again, like I said, I can't answer questions for them.
I guess we're not voting, but I would assume that we'd want them to follow that structural engineer analysis.
Yeah, especially the owner of the building, you'd think. Oh, that's
We
the
can
state
check with-
of Ohio.
Sounds to me like you got a question, and if there's a question, then I suggest you table it and I get them back
Okay.
here.
Okay, we'll do that.
You brought up earlier the inconvenience that you might have to come into town for a 5-minute conversation. Is this something where we could utilize conference calling a little bit more?
We did once for one of these, and I think if they're coming from this great a distance, like I said, this group was supposed to be coming from out of Philadelphia, and I'd hate to think they're on their way here or something happened.
Probably in the parking
You know.
garage.
So,
Driving around not getting a parking space.
Yeah.
but they have not called me or notified me, so unless they called my office. They didn't have my cell number. So.
What would happen if we made a motion that said, this is just a trial balloon, that we approved Title 41 provided they accept the more stringent engineering structural
Actually, this is not
requirements?
Title 4, this is a cell
What's it
tower.
called?
Okay.
But you're right. We can do
Some
that.
sort of Title 43.
Title 43, oh, we added 2, it's more important, okay. So, I mean, is that something people would go along with? Because it's the only, and the people.
I would.
The people that own the building.
Other
So is that a
than
motion and a second? Can you
would we
rephrase it?
add? Do we need to add Ohio University's acceptance, or what would you use?
I think just a copy of the contract they have with the university. Obviously, that if they got towers on top of their building, they got some sort of agreement with OU, much like they have with us.
But perhaps OU wants to take this opportunity
To have them removed.
reopen that contract. So,
Oh, yeah, consider if they have to do the roof and they want these guys to go put something new on the roof. We've had the same conversation with the parking garage, right? It's like, we need to fix something before you put something new on the roof.
Or they want to renegotiate payment.
I'm going to make a phone call to them. I suggest we table this
Okay.
because I think it's up to OU to determine whether or not those ballasts should be on there, not us, if it's affecting their roof. Like
Why
ours
would-
did, it's their
I will
structure.
be sharing this with my OU contacts. So.
Please do.
Okay. Can I get it electronically? Or did you send it?
I do not have one electronically. I can scan it and
Why
send it
don't
to you that
we
way.
even do this? I mean, if they don't,
This is leftover from Roosevelt Tower, isn't it? Why, we're doing this exercise, you mean?
yeah, I mean, all of these towers, they're just like,
Title 43 was one.
where's Nicholas when we need him? He's the only one that was on the board. All right.
It's
So I'll just
amazing
make a
how they
motion
want to
then
do.
that
I
we
have
table
Yeah.
case number 1516.
There you go.
Second.
A second, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous with one absentee.